Hello, and welcome back to the She Who Glows podcast, or if you're just watching on YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I am a Spotify and YouTube girly, and that is mainly, I also post this on, Apple Podcast as well, but I tend to watch on Spotify and YouTube, so it's quite interesting to see where people go. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the video, and if you're watching on podcast, then I guess you can listen to this as and when or wherever you are in your life. So thank you for tuning in. I'm in my kitchen today recording this because I've just finished my lunch, and it's been one of those mornings, it's a Monday morning, where I've had this to-do list and things have just naturally flowed in an opposite direction because someone who works for me, her name's Phoebe, I'm sure I'll talk about her on this a few times. I'm sure I'll get her on at some point as well. Who's helping me out with True Self Care Club, like my events, the social media and things like that, admin stuff, creative writing. And she lives near me. We were school friends and we met up on a walk, but incidentally, this has happened to us a few times now because obviously we live close. Sometimes we'll plan to do a meeting, and our meeting was actually meant to be tomorrow instead of today, but she invited me back to hers for a cup of tea, a little catch up, because we have to have fun at the same time, obviously, whilst also talking about things that are going on over the next few months and the next year as well. So it's been a productive morning, a really nice morning, but when it's one of those things that you just didn't expect to happen, you just go with it. I love that. But then I was going to go on a walk and then go to the gym, and I've not been to the gym yet. I've not even showered yet. Sorry if that's too much information, but it's the truth. And I just thought, you know what? I have lived a lot of my life just trying to be a perfectionist, and I feel like some people wouldn't know that I'm a perfectionist, but I don't want to even label myself as that, but just having this thought in your mind being like, oh, you can't do that because you don't have this yet, or you don't have the proper podcast set up, so you can't do a podcast. And here I am just in my kitchen, naturally just having a chat with you guys about what I want to talk about today, which is self-love. And I guess that's partly perfectionism, and that's intertwined together. And I just thought, you know what? That is just to get it done and stop stressing myself out with when to schedule it in. Just get it done. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how it comes out. Just let it flow. And that's, I think, what this morning meeting Phoebe naturally on the park has taught me. That structure is great, but also to move with that structure as well, because sometimes you have a plan of something and it doesn't always go that way. That's happened to me so many times in my life, that you think your future is going to be this way and it completely changes direction, and you just have to flow with that. That's something that I've been taught many times within yoga, especially yin yoga, when I was in Bali, talking about chi, which is energy flow in the body and things like that. And I have got a tiny bit of a blockage at the moment, which I don't know if it's a blockage, I don't like calling it a blockage, but limited beliefs, things like that, we always are going to have them. It's continuously leveling out of them and creating new belief systems. And for me at the moment, it's rooting deeper into my body and working even more on my self-image and self-love. Because even though I've come a long way from when I had an eating disorder when I was a teenager, there's always deeper layers to go. And I know that I was shown once in a meditation that there was this rose, and all the rose petals were being peeled back over time throughout our lifetime to then peel back all the ego and the beliefs. Sorry, just had something in my throat then. And to get to your pure essence, which is your soul. And that is the journey of our life. It's not like, oh, I love myself now and that's it. No, the work continues to keep on going. Otherwise, you can spiral backwards. And I was having a chat with my friend Amelia at the weekend as well, how it's so easy to choose the quick fixes in the moment of, oh, I'll just have, I hate that I'm using this example of food right now, but it's just the easiest one to use. I'm going to have that pizza right now, which obviously it's fine to have pizza and whatever food you want in the moment. But it's continuous choices over time that we make for ourselves that make a difference. And so if you continuously choose to have pizza every single night, like, you're obviously going to put weight on. And if you're not exercising, but instead, if you chose to have something that you know is going to nourish your body, and you go to the gym for 30 minutes to an hour a day, then you're going to see the benefits over time. And if you're not, then there's another root cause there that is going to be stifling your growth, which is always an emotional, most of the time, an emotional root cause. That is an emotional thing that needs healing. And it just made me realize, like, it is just so easy to not show up or sleep on yourself. It's not so easy to literally choose the quick fix and go, oh, pizza takes 10 minutes in the oven, I'll just do that, instead of choosing to make a nice meal for yourself and create something from scratch, which I know we don't all have time for, and it's not always a priority, but it's making sure that you nourish yourself. And that is a form of self-love for me, like consistently showing up for myself every single day. And I feel like I'm on this tangent now because some people don't know what self-love is. And I don't think I used to know either. Like, I used to think that, you know, all you have to do in life is just give love to everything around you. And actually it is the opposite. And this took me ages to literally wrap this around my head, that it's not about giving out the love. It's about giving it to yourself and then acting on authenticity from that place when your cup is full of energy, because you're so loved by yourself that you don't need to then act out of wounding and feel like you've got to get something back or build resentment up because you've literally given so much and you're not receiving anything back. Even if that's a subconscious thing, you know, I've had so many times where I'm like, I'm literally putting so much effort and energy into this thing and I'm literally not seeing the benefits from this. I don't get it. And it's because subconsciously I was wanting something back, or subconsciously I felt like I deserved better than that, which I did, but I didn't realize that the more energy and love that I give to myself, then naturally that ripple effects outwards. And I always like to use nature as an example, because flowers, for example, they bloom and they're so colourful and beautiful. They don't expect you to clap and applaud them for them just being gorgeous in the way that they are. They are just doing their thing. And they know that they are loved because they have their community around them. They're connected through the roots and they have the support of each other. And we all know that, well, I'm not sure if everyone does, but that saying where if you speak to a plant kindly, loving every day, it thrives and flourishes. And if you speak to it negatively, then it doesn't thrive or grow as quick. It's stunted in its growth. And that is exactly the same as us humans. We just have more of an opportunity to set boundaries, to protect ourselves, to move ourselves out of an environment that suits us better, and all things like that. And another thing that flowers teach me as well, it's interesting that flowers are coming through so strongly for me, as well as my name being Holly, which is a plant, obviously. I'm obviously connected to nature and I love how much it teaches us. And any time that I forget my self-worth or self-love, like, I literally turn to nature and I'm like, that tree is literally, it's perfect, but it's also not perfect. Like, it's not in a straight line. It's got bumps and lumps to it. It's got different things growing in different directions. And no tree or plant is exactly the same. And that's what makes it so beautiful and unique. And I think these days, everybody is starting to look like each other. Botox, nose jobs, plastic surgery, like, it's actually quite sad if you think about it, how everybody is trying to look a certain way, putting that plaster over it to think that it will build their self-worth, but it actually goes the opposite way, because you realise even though you've had the nose job or whatever it is, you're still not getting to the root cause of that self-image, what's the word, that you're feeling a lack of. Self-love. And if we actually get to the root cause of what the self-image is, self-love wound is, that's when you can start to make any changes just from wanting to over feeling like you need to get a certain feeling. Another thing that used to confuse me was that we all have every single feeling within us as well, that we don't need anything externally. And I used to be like, what? Like, we don't need anything outside of ourselves. But I literally have had so many moments in my life where I felt so like you've got a hole in your chest, like there's something missing. And it's mainly to do with things that you've been programmed into as a child, that you feel like you need to get validation to feel love, like you need to achieve to feel love, like you need to constantly be doing things to feel love, and you don't feel as worthy when you're resting, which most women feel, or you feel guilty for it. You feel guilty for putting yourself first, especially if you're a mother, things like that. And I just need you to know that that is not your fault. Like, that is something that has been programmed into you. It's not your parents' fault, it's not your grandparents' fault. It is, we can call it society, but it's definitely something more spiritual than that. It is something that's just been passed down through generations, and I know it's a life path of mine to work on my self-love and deepen that and help others as well through that. And it's not an easy journey at all. Like, I could quickly and easily go and get, not that I feel like I want this or need it, by the way, like go and get plastic surgery, for example, to make myself think that I'm gonna feel better through that. That would be a quick fix that lasts, what, maybe 6 months to 2 weeks, 6 months. And then you realise, oh, the patterns are still playing in my life of me feeling like I'm not being seen for who I truly am, or my worth's not being met by people around me through my job or through my partner or family, whatever it is. And that's because you haven't got to the root cause of it. And that's also the source way. And what source is obviously like God consciousness, complete love, this energy that runs through everything. Source created me, source created the plants, created nature, and anything that is man-made, which I guess is like changing yourself through plastic surgery. Also, this is, anyone who has had plastic surgery or any Botox or anything, this is not a dig against you. Like, I completely get why anyone has had those things. It's just something easy for me to use as an example of what as women do to try and feel a certain way when it's not the root cause of it, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't get it or it's a bad thing. It's just an example. So I'm just putting that straight before I go on. The source way is harder. It's the higher self way, and it's also your soul pull way, your soul pathway. And it's, what that means is like what your heart is really desiring and following that over what your ego wants. And what's an ego? It's that thing that protects you from being hurt and feeling your true emotions. So I don't know if where I'm going forward with this is everybody is so completely unique, because I've been talking about how we're trying to change ourselves through plastic surgery and trying to like look a perfect way that society has decided that we should look. And that also, by the way, continues to change and change and change over the years, doesn't it? Like, they're like, oh yeah, back in the 80s, 90s, whatever it was skinny, and now it's curvy and big bums and things like that. Like, it continues to change all the time, and they do that for a reason. It's to make money and profit off it. And I know it can sound like so like conspiracy theory and confusing, but it's quite obvious. It's so obvious. And it keeps women away from their true power. And as soon as women remember the power that they have within them and just the divine feminine in general, which some people may not know what that is. It just means your feminine essence within you. We all have a masculine and feminine energy within us. But I'm not going deep into that today. That's for another time. As soon as we remember that power and our worth, knowing that our uniqueness and our beauty isn't defined by looking the same, it is by being different and by being the design that God designed us, or our higher selves designed us. That is where our true beauty lies, in our differences, and accepting that difference with each other is what's going to make us continue to grow. And I'm still on my journey of accepting my full self, like every single inch of my body. I do believe that we can energetically manipulate certain parts of our body to look a certain way, and you can only change energetically when, well, I'll dive deeper into that in a second, but you can only change fully and sustainably once you fully accept where you are, whether that's through a situation or how you look in the moment. So for example, if you're deciding that you want to lose weight, you can obviously lose weight by not eating and not nourishing yourself, or like continuously exercising, and you'll see it drop off. But if it's not sustainable and you're not doing it out of self-love and the intention is different, then it's going to be hard to sustain that. And you're also still going to be feeling the same feelings that you had before. And I know this because I've been through it. When I was 14 and had an eating disorder and I was struggling with how I felt towards myself, I thought, oh, if I just make myself skinnier, maybe that'll help. And I did. And then I got so skinny that I was like, oh no, like I'm too skinny now. Like I don't like it. My arms are so long and lanky, as they already are. And then I decided, oh, let me just put a bit of weight on or just eat normally again. And it did help because I just let go of that control a lot more, but it still like fluctuated up and down from sometimes gaining more control to then just letting go through life and then getting back into it a little bit and then letting go. And it's kind of like been this up and down cycle of this expansion and retraction. And I think for me, knowing that, oh, no matter what I look like in my body, like I'm going to pretty much feel the same way about myself. So it actually needs to be changed from internal instead of the external. So I have been through that myself, just in a different way to plastic surgery. So I hope that's another example that helps, because I'm sure a lot of people relate, whether it's body dysmorphia and seeing your body in a way that it doesn't look at all, or wanting to constantly be better than what you are now, which isn't a bad thing. It just, if it's thinking that you can only get something if you look a certain way, that's when it's not going to be as helpful for you. And when we look at flowers, I'm coming back to the flower situation because I'm also overlooking the garden. I'm seeing these beautiful purple and pink flowers, and they look completely different to each other, yet they have no competition with each other because they are so completely different and unique. And that's what makes them worthy for being here. Like everything on this earth that is this living consciousness is so unique. It has a different personality, a different feel to it, a different energy to it. It's like it's invaluable because of its uniqueness. And I just really want you to see your uniqueness within you. And I know I've done it with myself, comparing myself to other people, being like, oh, I wish I looked more like them, or I wish I had their life, or whatever it is. And I know people have done that to me as well. Maybe you watching this or listening to this, maybe you've done that to me. And I need you to see that the way you look is completely perfect. And the way that you are within your soul and your personality is completely perfect. Even if you're running off of some ego or some wounding, because that is the way that it's meant to be for you right now. It doesn't mean that you're not meant to like look into that and support yourself and get on that path of your higher self or continue to evolve and change. It just means as long as you accept yourself and who you are in each moment, and it's not easy, like it's easier said than done. Like I still struggle with it for sure. That's when real change starts to happen. And as soon as we start to try and force something to change, that it doesn't change because we're forcing it. It's not naturally happening. Well, that just all rolled out of me then. There was one more thing I wanted to say was everything is created through resistance. And so anything you're trying to resist right now is actually being created in your life. And that took me a long time to also get my head around as well, because anything you fear or that you are trying to avoid is the exact thing that you're subconsciously creating, because your higher self, God, life, literally loves you and it wants you to grow and evolve and support you in your soul's evolution on earth. And I know not everybody believes that they're a soul or that they're here for life, but if you're listening to this, then you're probably on that same wavelength. And if not, you're probably just dipping your toe in that and getting around to the idea of it. And it would not show you things in your external if you actually got to the root cause before you had the external thing happen to you to make yourself see where you're not loving yourself, or where you're not where you're sleeping on yourself, and where you're not showing up for yourself. And so those things that happen in your external, even though they can seem really bad and scary and horrible because you're finally confronting your fears and things that are happening to you, it's actually such a blessing because it's helping you to evolve and to get to where you want to be. And that's the exact same with trying to create the best possible version of you, because it is also okay to want to feel healthier and want to feel better in your body and want to get stronger and get more muscles and things like that. Like, that desire is okay, as long as it's coming from your heart's desire, not your ego's desire to feel more validated from other people. It's okay to have those desires. And obviously when we go to the gym, our bodies are created, or muscles grow through resistance, training with weights, using the resistance machines. That's what grows your muscles, right? Over continuous time. Like, everyone says, like, oh, I'm sure, like, not everyone says, but like, I've been in this coaching program before where it's like you can just decide something and change it, and I do believe in that, but I do also think it's a continuous decision. Like, you can't just make one decision to love yourself and then that's it for the rest of your life. Like, it's a continuous choice to either choose to love yourself or choose to hate yourself. And so just be aware of which one you're constantly choosing every day, because that's what you'll create more of in your life as well. And it's not an overnight thing. It's a continuous choice every single day to show up for yourself, to grow your body with your muscles, to go to the gym and choose that 1 hour of like intense growth and pain, to then do whatever you want for the rest of your day. And obviously people have work schedules, whatever it is, but like, then your body kind of rests. Well, it does it doesn't always for me if I'm teaching yoga or something like that, but I know I would rather choose that 1 hour a day, or whatever I've decided to choose for my fitness plan, to grow my muscles, to then enjoy the rest of my day and know that I've shown up for myself today and my muscles have received some resistance for them to be able to grow. And if they don't, then they're going to start to wither away a little bit. And that sounds like quite intense, but it is just the truth. Like, it is just how it is. And if I decided to just one day go, I'm never going to the gym again, it would be fine. But it's also like, I don't want that for myself. I want to choose to show up, and not out of like force, which I used to do. I used to be a professional dancer. I've danced since the age of 3. I had to force myself to move my body when all I needed sometimes was just complete rest. And sorry, I've got a Sula, just like wiped my mustache because I'm sweating. It's so warm today in the UK. Yeah, I've been there where I've like pushed my body. It's like, it's not nice when you're forcing yourself to do something. And now I have that choice. Yes, I'm going to the gym in a minute and I'm not like absolutely buzzing for it, but I'm also excited for it because I have that intention of knowing that it's benefiting me and that it's making me, it is a form of self-love for me now, and it used to be a punishment. I couldn't spend a minute resting when I was like 14. I'd come home from work and put the Wii on, if anyone knows what the Wii is, where you've got like all these different activities you do on this, like, it's a bit like an Xbox type thing, and I'd just like be running on the spot in my living room, a 14-year-old, and then I'd go to dance after or whatever it was. It's just like, that poor girl just couldn't even rest because she thought if she doesn't keep going then she's not gonna be okay, or she's not gonna have the benefits of losing weight or feeling good in her body. And so it's so nice to come into balance now, because I've definitely been to so many extremes within my life, especially when it comes to finances, career, love life, health and fitness, which is most things that I'll be talking about on this podcast and channel. And I'm so grateful now, and there's still so many things that I've not spoken about, which will just come in time when it naturally happens, that I know have needed to happen for me to go one way to then come back into balance, so that I've experienced what it's like to be in the extremes, and life is all about finding neutrality and balance, and I'm able to teach that. And lucky for you guys, hopefully you won't have to go to the extremes, because I'll be able to share what I've experienced for you to get to the neutrality quicker than what I did. And I know I'm still young and I still have a lot of life to live. Well, you'd like to think so. I was literally in Croatia a few weeks ago and oh my Christ, the plane gave me the worst anxiety ever, and like so many fears came up. I'm fine with flying, by the way, until this situation happened where I was on holiday with my boyfriend. We was on our flight there and it literally couldn't land because it was literally swaying that much and it had to go back up. We had to land at another airport and then try and go back because the winds were so crazy. And I literally, my hands were in somebody else's, my life was in somebody else's hands. I just had to fully let go of control. And that is something that I've struggled with for most of my life, just letting go of control. And I was like, you know what, if I die right now, I'll be so okay with the life that I've led so far because I've taken so many risks. I have experienced so much of life and I'm so proud of myself for that. And I think it made me realise how grateful I am already for the life I've lived, but also how much I still want to continue living. And there has been times where I've not wanted to live and just wanted to give up and didn't really care about what I did in my life because I didn't care about myself. So I didn't really care about the repercussions, and that's how low my self-worth was, can I just say. It's kind of crazy. Whereas now I actually care about myself. Been a little bit emotional about that. That literal flight made me realise how much I cared about myself and my life that I'm creating. And I know that there's an afterlife, like I've had experiences of things living beyond the physical. But I think I do have a little bit of a fear of dying because I want to continue living. Like I have these desires in my heart that I want to create in this life, in this body and character of Holly that I'm in as well. And it's just helped me to be like, I just need to put myself out there more. And even though there's still parts of me that do care what people think, I don't think that is a bad thing. And there's going to be people that agree with me and disagree with me, not like me, love me. It doesn't matter because as long as I'm me and I'm just creating what I want, and that's all that matters. So that's what came from that flight. Thank you for taking me through that crazy journey to gain this bloody wisdom. Sometimes I just think I wish life didn't have to be so intense for me to share these stories that I've got in my life. But it's just the way it is, isn't it? Anyway, I feel like that's wrapped it up nicely on self-love so far. There's going to be so many more times that I talk about self-love, intuition, finances, career, health, fitness, so relationships as well, not just love but friendships, which I've also had ups and downs with as well. And it'll be just good to talk about because I know that I've loved listening to podcasts and things like that have helped me with those areas as well. And they're things that we're not taught in school because we get taught maths and English and basic things that we do need to know, but also not necessarily life skills to help us to live the best life for us. We're kind of taught to learn things, to memorize things instead of be encouraged to create our own things. And that is what I know I want to encourage people to create through their their authenticity through themselves. And there's so many plans that I want to bring to fruition over the next year with True Self Care Club and my own coaching and things like that, which will help with all those things as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for having a little chat with me. I'm going to go to the gym now and enjoy the rest of my day with everything else I've got going on, and I shall speak to you very soon. Bye bye.